your only Bay Area news source for live local news 24 hours a day.
News Radio 970 WFLA.
Good morning, 9 o'clock on Martin Giles. News Radio 970 WFLA. Newswatch 8 meteorologist Jim Smith says Hurricane Hugo is aimed at Puerto Rico.
Hurricane Hugo is positioned now at 17 and 9/10 degrees to the north, 65 and 1/10 degrees to the west. This puts it just to the east of Puerto Rico, and it is moving west at about 15 miles per hour. Still has winds at 140 miles per hour.
News Radio 970 WFLA's Don Richards has been monitoring amateur radio transmissions from Puerto Rico.
Puerto Rico is not yet feeling the full force of Hugo's 140-mile-an-hour winds, but it's already reporting winds of 70 to 100 miles an hour and very heavy rains as the storm starts to inch its way across the island. Winds have been strong enough to cause some structural damage. One recent report that the roof on the garage at the weather station at San Juan is missing in the midst of the storm.
Hugo is reported to have killed 9 people on Guadalupe. No word yet on casualties in the Virgin Islands. Forecasters say Hugo is expected to continue west-northwest and is a definite threat to the eastern U.S. Nobody's guessing just where yet. Tropical storm Iris is getting stronger. Top winds up to 50 miles an hour. Iris is 250 miles east of Barbados, moving due west at 18 miles an hour. Coordinates 12.6 north, 55.8 west. No word yet what caused the fire at American Legion Post 125 in Gulfport. It broke out this morning at 5, and there was still enough mess around to foul up 49th Street South during rush hour. Nobody hurt. The St. Petersburg City Council is due to take up pay for police and firefighters this week, though the budget is already adopted. Mayor Bob Ulrich says the money's there.
We have allocated towards increases in monies that would be allocated to police and fire for this next year. As a matter of fact, the police and the fire budgets have been increased this next year by some 7%.
That doesn't mean, of course, that the police and firefighters will get the pay raises they want. A lot of people think the Hillsborough Hospital Authority should put off its vote on making Tampa General a private hospital. 970 WFLA's Brian Brewer says the vote is scheduled for tomorrow.
Concern is that if the hospital is leased to a private business, its ability to treat and care for those who can't afford to pay will suffer. Tampa City Councilman Ronnie Mason says he'd like to know a lot more about the privatization plan before the vote is taken.
I would have to agree. I don't believe a postpone a few weeks is going to hurt a thing. If we can get some clarification on it, I don't know if our vote's going to do any good, but I think that we should know what's going on.
And Hillsborough Commissioner Jan Platt is one Hospital Authority board member who favors postponing that decision. In Tampa, Brian Brewer, News Radio 970 WFLA.
A lot of people think it's fun. Jim Baker doesn't. We'll have that story and more news in a moment. It's 9:03 at News Radio 970 WFLA.
It seems that someone is always giving you the chance to win a prize with a game card you can rub off. Scratch it. Right on. Or tear open to find out what you won. Now there's a game you can play with a game card that talks.
Congratulations. You win.
It's the Shell Auto Care Talking Card game. Played only at Shell Auto Care stations. Look for your talking card in the mail. Then take it to the auto care dealer named on the card to find out what you won. Because every card is a winner. You might win a free quart of oil, a free tune-up or brake service, even a 1-year supply of gasoline. The game starts September 4th and lasts through September 30th. No purchase necessary. If you don't receive a Shell Talking Card in the mail, just ask a participating Shell Auto Care dealer for one. And instead of your game card, just listen to it.
Congratulations. You win.
Experience the difference at Shell. Supply of game pieces limited. 52 dealers participating in select Florida cities.
The Jim Baker PCL fraud trial starts again in less than half an hour. Reporter June Preston says the prosecution is expecting to wrap up early. 970 WFLA News Time, 9:05.
The cost of borrowing to buy a home has dipped again over the past week, but the experts don't expect mortgage rates to get much lower. The average rate for a fixed mortgage is 10.05%, down 1/8 of a point from a week ago. Rates for the first year of an adjustable are just slightly lower, averaging 8.68%. The cost of heating your home is expected to go up. Analysts say prices for natural gas should begin to rise next month and continue up into the winter, but they can't agree by how much. And electricity costs could feel a pinch, too, because many utilities use natural gas in generating plants. Early in New York, the dollar's higher, but down from earlier levels overseas. Gold's lower. December gold down $2.30 at $366.60 an ounce. U.S. shares steadied a slightly higher in London. Traders there expect a higher New York opening today. The Dow Jones Industrial stand at 2674.58, up 9.69 Friday, but down 34 points for the week. This is the Wall Street Journal report.
Our newsroom never closes. 24 hours a day, coverage from the best. News Radio 970 WFLA.
It's the final blowout, and Abraham Chevrolet says, you know you make me wanna. About a new car or truck. Not $100 over cost, not even $1 over cost, not even dead cost. You know you make me wanna. Because Abraham Chevrolet is selling brand new 89 Chevrolets at $200 below factory invoice. That's right, $200 below factory invoice on brand new Chevy trucks and cars. Choose from 210 trucks or 89 Cavaliers starting at just $67.95. And if you need a truck to pull a boat or trailer, Abraham Chevrolet has over 30 recreational towing vehicles in stock, including Suburbans, crew cabs, dualies, extended cab, or S10 Blazers with factory towing packages. If you thought you couldn't afford a new conversion van, think again. Abraham Chevrolet has conversion vans starting at $14,795. Abraham Chevrolet is going to make you want to shout. So don't pay $100 over, $1 over, or even dead cost. Come to Abraham Chevrolet this week only for the final blowout on all new 89 Chevrolets. Dealer retains rebate.
Sunny skies across the area, and we can expect partly cloudy conditions this afternoon and a chance of a shower, and temperatures in the low 90s. Clearing skies tonight with lows dropping to the mid-70s by early tomorrow morning. For Tuesday, look for another day with sunshine in the morning, but becoming cloudy with showers in the afternoon, the high temperature in the low 90s. I'm meteorologist Jim Smith, and that's the exclusive Newswatch 8 Doppler forecast on News Radio 970 WFLA.
9:07 at the weather station. Radar shows that it's raining like crazy well out in the Gulf, but nothing coming this way. Treasure Island has 79 degrees, so does Clearwater, so does St. Petersburg. Plant City at 77, 76 in Tampa on News Radio 970 WFLA. Next news at 10, bulletins at once. I'm Martin Giles.
Bob Schuman, News Radio 970 WFLA.
Well, good morning. Bob Schuman with you. 970 WFLA Monday morning. It's 9:07. And this promises to be an interesting day on the Shoe Show. We had hoped to start our conversation about Q105 this hour, right now, just after 9 o'clock. But I am told that some corporate people from our company went to, a local bar, pub, or something last night, and met late in the evening hours, or perhaps into the early morning hours. And so there's been a little bit of delay on our discussion about Q105. I mean, I could get into it with you, but I would prefer to have Gabe Hobbs here, our operations manager, and Randy Michaels, programming hooligan, executive vice president of programming for J-Corps, and really a bright guy. He will have some very interesting things to tell you. So that Q105 conversation coming up, we think, around 10 o'clock this morning here on 970 WFLA. Did you watch the Emmys last night? John Larroquette, the host, thought it was pretty interesting. No major surprises. There were a lot of pans this morning in the aftermath of the Emmys because some people said it was too nostalgic. Personally, I thought that was kind of a nice touch, although I found it confusing that they said that they were celebrating the 50th anniversary of TV because back in the 1920s, more than 10 years earlier, TV was going around the world on the shortwave type band. Now, it wasn't as good a TV as we have today, but TV pictures could be transmitted all around the world on the shortwave band, and that was back in the 1920s. Debbie Turner, Miss America, 1989. I don't know how you felt about that one, but I thought that was a really good call. I must say, in some past years, in some pageants, not just Miss America, I felt that because of the minority progress issue, that perhaps there was a little bit of pressure self-imposed on judges to perhaps go with the minority just for that reason. But I got to say, I felt really, really good about Debbie Turner. She was pretty, nice figure. She handled herself well. Full of the old vim and vinegar, positive attitude, smiling a lot. And I don't know about you, but I feel real good about Debbie Turner, Miss America, 1989. Congratulations. The Shoe went fishing over the weekend, as usual, out of the old Slippery Dick, and share an experience I had, which hope you find interesting. It was interesting to me. We were fishing for a grouper about 30 miles offshore, off Tarpon Springs, and was pulling my bait up to check it. Had a little threadfin herring, which is a little, little fish, bait fish about 5 inches long, and it was dead. That's what we're using for bait, dead fish. Anyway, checked it, pulled it up, and there was something chasing it. Came right up to the boat, and it was a shark. About a 3-foot shark. I don't know what kind of shark it was, but I thought, well, geez, I'll just go ahead and let it take the bait and have some fun. And my wife says, no, you might hurt it. And so I said, you're right. I don't want to hurt a shark. So anyway, we just toyed with it a little bit, threw some bait fish into it, and the thing hung around the boat for maybe 10 minutes, and it was almost like a pet. I think our boat's the only boat in the Gulf of Mexico that would be nice to a shark, don't you think? And it was I don't know what kind it was, but I'm sure it would probably been pretty good to eat. Most people call those dinner sharks, 3-footers. But I'm also told you have to kill them as soon as you get them on board, slice the bellies open, gut them, and then soak them in salt water for a while. And I understand that sharks, the carcasses of sharks, will wriggle in your fish box for about 20 minutes after you catch them. So that sounds kind of eerie. So we didn't bother with it. We are keeping a very close watch on Hurricane Hugo this morning. 140-mile-an-hour winds lashing out at the Virgin Islands and taking aim on Puerto Rico. Our Doppler 8 meteorologists will keep a close watch on the storm and keep us posted throughout the day and the coming days on 970 WFLA. We spoke with meteorologist Jim Smith this morning on Gardner & Company, and Jim told us that it probably would not be a threat to any portion of the United States until at least Thursday. So that's good. Quite frankly, the one that concerns me is the tropical storm Iris, which is off the coast of Barbados now. Winds gusting 45 to 50 miles an hour. And that's Tropical Storm Iris. It's a little farther south, and who knows? That one could come up the Gulf of Mexico. But again, the Bay Area's largest news team, the only 7-day-a-week, 24-hour-a-day radio news team on 970 WFLA will keep you up to date on these storms. And if they should threaten, you'll be the first to know. It's 9:12 now on the Bob Schuman Show on 970 WFLA. Coming up in just a moment, we're going to read some of your letters. Yes, letters to the manager on the Bob Schuman Show.
Only one long-distance company offers so many ways to save 24 hours a day. With calling plans that can save you money across the state, across the country, and across the ocean. Only one company, AT&T. Our reach-out plans fit the way you call, with all the service and quality of AT&T. No one even comes close. Call 1-800-REACH-OUT now. AT&T, the right choice. Savings potential depends upon subscriber calling patterns.
You hit Farm Fresh Produce at Cash and Carry. You pick only the best in quality, in selection, or double your money back. We're that sure it's the best produce at the very best prices. So pick Cash and Carry Farm Fresh Produce. Double your money back guarantees it. That's Cash and Carry.
Visit Cash and Carry and take home the true Italian taste of Celeste Pizza for one.
Here's Radio 970 WFLA, the Robert K. Schuman Show. It's 9:13. It's Mike Serio. Looks like, huh? You got any more commercials, Mike, or is that it? Is that all she wrote? I guess that's all she wrote. If you'd like to talk to us, we have some numbers open. Pinellas County, 461, or Hillsboro, 990-WFLA, or the GTE MobileNet Star line is free at 970-STAR. The topic this morning on the Bob Schuman Show is going to be Q105. Are they slipping? Is the dynasty about to end? Is it over? We're going to be speaking with Gabe Hobbs, our operations manager of 970 WFLA and Z93, our wicked step-sister station across the hallway, and with Randy Michaels, who is our programming kahuna from our corporation, J-Core Communications, Inc., from Cincinnati. We expect those hooligans and mad individuals to be in here around 10 o'clock this morning on the Shoe Show. In the meantime, letters to the editor, letters to the manager. We're going to do this a couple of times a week and let you know what some of the folks are saying to those of us at 970 WFLA. All right, letter number 1. Dear Bob, what happened to all the fun? I work on the road in my truck. I enjoy listening to WFLA and have for the past 4 years. My listening time started at 6:30 a.m. with Gardner & Company, then the 9 to noon slot through 12:30 to about 4 or 5. I love to listen to Bob Lassiter. I understand there was nothing that could be done about his leaving. Lionel is fantastic, but I never get to hear him anymore because of his time slot. Rush doesn't do it for me. Neither does the Doe. I don't know. I guess the Joe. Nothing against you, Bob, but how about some spice? I've been a loyal listener for 3 years now. Even have 2 footballs on my truck. Help us out during the day. And it's signed Mark Fez, I think. Hard to read your last name there, Mark. Another letter. Dear Bob, as I told you on your talk show this morning, you have lost me as an afternoon listener by replacing Ted Webb with Rush Limbaugh. Rush Limbaugh is the most egotistical, self-important, far right-wing, reactionary, fascist, racist, chauvinistic jerk I've ever heard on the radio. Not only that, I don't like him very much. Some of the right-wing radical wackos who call your station regularly sound like Massachusetts liberals compared to him. I realize I am spoiled as a talk radio listener since I came here from the Midwest, where the likes of KMOX in St. Louis and WGN in Chicago dominate the airwaves. As large as this market is and as established as WFLA is in it, it seems to me you could find somebody locally or in another market to fill that afternoon time slot. And until such time as you do, I guess I will have to listen to WTKN. Tisk. Anyway, that's signed J. Kevin Horth, Horth. Thanks for your letter. Another letter to the management of WFLA Radio. Your recent program changes have compelled an otherwise appreciative listener to vent my spleen. 2 years ago, after reading about the controversial Lassiter, I became a radioholic. 6 a.m. when I arose until at least 10 p.m. Whenever possible, my radio was on, in the car, in the kitchen, in the bathroom, and I even had to buy a radio for work. My disease became almost an obsession. But talk radio is something I found I enjoyed immensely, much more so than television. My avid listening became a family joke with, I believe, a touch of jealousy. Through the many changes common in radio, excluding the tragic death of the great Dick Norman, your programming has continued to be interesting and varied. As with many of your listeners, I may not have agreed with the host or subject matter, but the hosts were so competent they were able to hold your attention. Now, of course, your morning hosts, Al Gardner, is great, even though I wish he could stay on a topic for at least 1 hour. I really get interested in the subject that's over, and I wish he could take more calls. I realize mornings are hectic, though. Ted Webb is the superstar and was really sorry his schedule necessitated mornings. I even listen sometimes to the sports huddle. Even though with 4 sons, I naturally have my fill of sports. The infamous Sam McClellan is so right, he tickles my funny bone, especially his ability to get such a rise out of his callers. I also think Joe Flores is great. He certainly adds a diverse opinion and spice to all of his programs, and that's exactly what the next great city needs. I just wish he was on more often. I can even tolerate Liz Richards because she at least gave some feminine inputs on otherwise dominated medium. I really enjoy Sally Jesse Raphael and used to have to change stations to listen to her. Thank you. Freddie Mertz, without wasting too much type, should be banned from radio. You don't like Freddie? Gee, you should be glad I didn't hire Freddie. We tried to get Freddie, but ABC sunk their talons in before we could get him here. Now to the present. Rush Limbaugh is... This is a long letter, folks, but it's interesting. Now to the present. Rush Limbaugh is not only awful, but how many times are his shows repeated? I know I heard that one program 3 times in 1 week. Dean Adele, I do find interesting, but how many times is he repeated? At least with Dean Adele, his subject is appealing to a general public, not, I feel, like such regular programming of garden, veterinary, horoscope, fishing programs, which has limited appeal. I'm sorry, but I find Bob Schuman boring, i.e., I could listen or not. Now the absolute best! Exclamation point. Lionel, who actually is the first person to make me laugh out loud, bringing stares when I'm in my car. He not only is versatile, witty, but very intelligent. Lively, topical subjects are refreshingly interspersed with, quote, fluff. Only one more paragraph. This guy's really put a lot into this. I hope the above does not offend anybody locally, but I do miss the enjoyment I received from your station, and I'm so very grateful for all the past, and I hope future pleasure I will derive from your superstation. Thanks so much. It's not even a guy. Virginia Mazisek. Macasek? I don't know. But of Tampa. Thanks very much for your letter. Let's do one more here. David W. Allen writes, Dear Bob, as a person who's been an avid talk radio listener in the Tampa market since 1980, I am quite disappointed with the current talent lineup in the midday period. As a local businessman in your targeted demographics group 25 to 54, this guy's a program director, I hope you will heed these words. Dr. Dean is boring and disgusting. The taste of Rush seems to be quite contrary to your live, local image. In a market of changing formats, WFLA cannot afford to send out mixed messages. Finally, I want to say I am a true supporter of your advertisers past and present. From Danka to Folgers to Calb's Cove and more, I vote with my dollars. I wish you all the best of luck to make News Radio 970, WFLA the best it can be. And that's from David Allen. Sample of some of the letters we get. Ken, if you have any comments, kind of an open line show until we bring our programming kahunas in and talk about Q105 in Tampa and talk about them, find out if they are slipping or sliding, going down the shooter. It's 9:20 now, News Radio 970, WFLA. When you call the Q105 newsroom at 1:30 in the morning, this is what you get. When you call News Radio 970 WFLA any time of the day or night, this is what you get.
Hi, News Radio 970 WFLA.
News Radio 970 WFLA is the only Bay Area radio station that gives you live local news. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. We mean it when we say our newsroom never closes. We're not afraid to go out in the dark. So when news happens in your neighborhood, there's only one place to tune. News Radio 970 WFLA.
A few years back, the folks at Campbell Soup came up with a very special soup full of big pieces of meat and vegetables, and it tasted so good they named it home cooking. And that's caused some confusion. It seems that when you hear home cooking, you think of your mom instead of their soup. So I called your mom, and she wouldn't mind a bit if the name home cooking made you think of their soup. Oh, and she also wouldn't mind if you had her over for dinner more often.
Remember the name home cooking soups from Campbell. Hello, I'm here at Niagara Falls for Black & Decker to demonstrate the new Power Pro Dustbuster Plus Back. The most powerful, versatile dustbuster ever. With extra power settings, it picks up wet spills easily. Ah, that's better. Gee, this really is more useful. The new Power Pro Dustbuster Plus Back from Black & Decker. When it comes to cleaning wet and dry, it really holds water.
We're 40,000 people reaching out to you with the helping hands of good health care.
When it comes to health care, the last thing you want is a hassle. That's why instead of forms and paperwork, AvMed gives you instant access to Florida's largest private practice health network. Nothing comes between you and more than 2,700 doctors and 79 of the best hospitals in Florida. And AvMed continues to support you after you join with a quality service that has made AvMed the most chosen private practice health plan in Florida. So join us.
We're doctors and nurses and folks behind the scenes. Ready to help anytime, anywhere. We're AvMed. We're here to help you.
On the Bob Schuman Show on News Radio 970, WFLA 923 now. If you'd like to talk to us from Pinellas 461 or Hillsborough 990. Then add on WFLA or call the GTE MobileNet Star line. It's free at 970-STAR. And again, our topic this morning, very shortly, is going to be Q105 radio. Are they slipping? Are they falling? Are they sliding rapidly? Randy Michaels, programming kahuna from our company, will be joining us, and also our local operations manager for Z93 and 970 WFLA, Gabe Hobbs. That should be interesting. Let's go to the phones now and talk to Marcus. Good morning, Marcus.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm doing all right. How about you?
Oh, not bad. I just wanted to add my comments. I was listening to letters that were being read on the air.
Yeah, I got a couple more to read, too, which I'm going to share with you in a minute.
Okay, but Ross Limbaugh is probably the most offensive personality I've ever heard on the radio. This guy's terrible. He's, I don't think a room is big enough to contain that man's ego, and the subject matter is so slanted in one direction, it's boring. I listen to the guy for 5 minutes and turn off the radio.
Yeah, he's, I got to say he's entertaining, but he is, I got to share your thing with ego. Ego's something that offends me, but he is entertaining. He's a pretty smart guy.
He's very intelligent, but, if you can't approach a topic from both directions, there's no sense in discussing it.
Yeah, I guess so, but it's his show. Hey, what do you think of Q105? You ever listen to Q105?
When I first got down here, I listened to him for about 3 months.
What do you think?
I think, if you're 16 years old and a high school sophomore, great. Other than that, it's garbage. Mental garbage. It's awful.
What are the best parts and the worst parts, do you think, about Q105?
I think, first of all, they should change their music, their motto to all 5 songs all the time. It's just repetition constantly over and over again. And like I said, it's to me, it seems like they're trying to appeal to a group of 16 years old. It's stupid humor, not very funny at all.
I think that, in some areas they do a pretty good job. I think they've got some very vulnerable points, I will say that. I think that the news is weak, and I think that the weather is weak. That's my own opinion.
Yeah, I couldn't listen to them for more than, like flipping through channels. I'm a channel flipper more than anything else, and especially now I'm driving home during Rush Limbaugh's show, so I'm all over the FM dial now.
How about I call Cleveland Wheeler and see if we can make a deal for them to take Rush Limbaugh? What do you think?
Oh, boy, I wouldn't even, I'd erase that from my radio entirely.
think the kids would dig him?
Excuse me?
Think the kids, the 16-year-olds, would dig Rush Limbaugh?
Oh, yeah. I think he would appeal to skinheads and that type of group.
Okay. Hey, Marcus, thanks for your call.
Okay.
I appreciate it. Have a ball, y'all. Let's go to Don. Don, you're on News Radio 970 WFLA.
Yeah, morning, Bob.
Hey, morning.
Yeah, I like to. Well, I'm not in agreement with the gentleman who just called. Actually, the opposite. Hey, Rush is a great guy. I think what constitutes good journalism or good radio, apparently, is left-wing programming. All these people who call in and get all excited about Rush Limbaugh, they're just sick because they hear the truth.
Well, Don, I must say, I think a lot of the reasons people are calling to bitch about Rush is that, because of his ego, not because of his politics, right?
Well, you hear a lot about his ego, but hey, who had a bigger ego than Bob Lassiter?
That's
and
true.
They loved him.
That's true. And Bob, like Rush, was entertaining. Right?
So basically, the reason is because of his political stance. I believe. I think I'm really sick and tired. I mean, I'm glad that we have a little bit of conservative politics interjected into journalism once in a while, because I'm sick and tired of getting the exact opposite shoved down my throat.
Yeah. Hey, Don, how old are you, may I ask?
35.
35. You ever listen to Q105?
Yeah, a little bit.
What do you think?
Not much for top 40. It's just the same stuff over and over and over. I'm not too crazy about rap kind of, disco-y kind of music. So, I basically listen to some oldies or jazz if I'm listening to.
Do you have offspring?
Excuse me?
Do you have offspring?
No, I don't. I'm single.
Oh, okay. I was just curious. I appreciate your call, Don.
Yeah.
Have a good one.
Okay, you too.
All righty, let's go to Harry. Harry, you're on News Radio 970 WFLA. Good morning.
Hey, how you doing?
Doing all right. How about you?
Good. Well, I wanted to comment on Rush Limbaugh.
Okay.
I love him. All right? I'm getting sick and tired of it. Most of the talk show hosts in South Miami and South Florida, and even you guys, are for the most part very liberal, and even the national guys, Michael Jackson, Larry King, nobody complains about them, and they shove this left-wing stuff down your throat every day. Well, I love Rush Limbaugh, and I think that he has grown so rapidly. 150 stations now nationwide, and is the most popular national talk show host going. That there has to be a reason for that. And the reason is that people get tired of this left-wing garbage that's shoved down your throat all the time.
So you think he's good just because of his political stance, right?
Oh, yeah. Well, he's funny. I mean, he's good and he's right. I mean, he's not broadcasting. Huh?
No, I was just mimicking him.
Yeah, broadcasting. Yeah, dittos from the Tampa Bay area, right? But the only complaint I have is that I would like to have him on live, all right, from 12, you can pick him up out of Sarasota or Lakeland live.
Yeah, I know that.
And to me, you're doing a disservice to him. But obviously, it's got to be the numbers that dictate to you, right?
Oh, absolutely, sure.
And if he's done what he's done in other markets, then no matter what kind of, the people that are writing, all right, definitely don't like him because of his stance, politically. But those of us who haven't written, and I'm calling now, maybe I'll follow it up with a letter, love him, all right? And I mean, to tell you, nationwide, he is doing an incredible job. Has to be. How could you go from 50 to 150 stations in less than 8 months?
How do you know he's done that? Maybe he's just lying. Maybe he's just telling a story, huh?
Well, I don't think that he's the type that would lie when he says, because he's made statements that he is now the number one talk show
in the world.
In the world, right. So how could he lie? I mean, he can't do that.
Cosmos. Well, I'll tell you what, Harry. Interesting evolution on how he got on our radio station. There's a guy named Lee Vandenhandel in New York who works for the people who syndicate Rush. And this guy has been on the horn to me time and time again. And finally we spoke with our corporate programming experts in Cincinnati. And, in fact, they advised us it would probably be a good move to put him on. So we're giving him a try. I think that, I don't like his ego. His political stance, I don't care. It doesn't bother me. But I do think he's entertaining, and that's why he's on 970 WFLA.
Well, I would suggest to you that it'll be the numbers that pay off, and When I travel a great deal, and I search the dial as I go. I pick them out of Ocala, you pick them out of Jacksonville.
Yeah.
And I love him. I think, his ego is great, there's no doubt about it, but that's what makes him fun to listen to.
Right.
And he tells the truth. And he says things that drives the liberals absolutely, bananas.
Yeah, I think he spent his summers in, Argentina? No. Hey, I got a dash. You have a good one, Eric.
All right, thanks.
Thanks very much for calling the Bob Schuman Show on 970 WFLA. One more letter, and then we'll come back and take some more of your calls. Getting some phlegm in my throat, and I didn't even go to the Mons Venus last night. Dear sirs or madame, in parentheses, to the big corporate hotshots. I'm writing because I care about Lionel and Gardner and Webb. These guys are major talent, and I can't stand to see the station rot out from under them. It's disgusting, stupefying, and amazing. I've become an addict to talk radio by this station. I've laughed, cried, mourned, and celebrated with the fine people of this once great radio station. Now I, and many more, I assure you, feel betrayed by what appears to be a total lack of regard for the status of the station and its personalities by this big-ass corporation, which is turning it into a damn joke. You're committing suicide before your own wide, astonished eyes with this piped-in crap and general wimpiness. Let me tell you something. It was a big mistake buying that fancy new studio complex because the damage has been done, boys and girls. A major screw-up that people will remember for years to come. When the next books come out, there will be a wailing and gnashing of the teeth at 970 WFLA and a great rejoicing at your once harmless competitor. Just who the hell do you think you are that you can pipe in a midday shift? Are you crazy? Stupid? No, I think you just don't care. Well, boys and girls, you are not untouchable, and you will surely find this out. But I'm afraid it's already too late. I just can't believe it. You blew it. You screwed the pooch. And let me tell you something. I resent it. Mike Lauren. Mike, thanks for your nice note. On News Radio 970, WFLA.
You just heard one of 570 million refund locations for American Express traveler's checks. Because starting now, anywhere there's a phone, you can get a refund. Hand-delivered, right to you, virtually anywhere in the world. It's the first time you could ever get a service like this. But it's only from American Express traveler's checks. So if your bank doesn't carry them, go to one that does.
Goodness of Progresso chicken noodle and hearty chicken soups. Tender chicken and select vegetables in hearty broths, rich with sunny Italian flavor.
I'm an airline pilot, which means I'm away more than I'm home, or so it seems. So when I finally find the time to do my banking, I could use a little convenience, like some kind of checking account that'll link my accounts together, my checking, savings, CDs. So each month I get one combined statement I can understand without an interpreter. You could also forget that fee on your credit card every year. It's really irritating. And I wouldn't mind a discount on loan rates. A little reward for being a good customer. Come on now. You got anything like that?
Introducing cross-link checking from Crossland Savings. Free checking with interest, plus lots of extras. And yes, qualify, and we won't charge you an annual fee for your credit card.
Give me something like that. I'll like you. Otherwise, hey, you're just another bank.
Stop in at any Crossland office, including our growing number of full-service Winn-Dixie supermarket branches. Crossland, the bank you could actually like. $2,500 minimum combined average balance required. Member FDIC, equal opportunity lender.
News Radio 970, WFLA, the time now 9:33 on the Robert J. Schuman program. And hopefully, within the next 30 minutes or so, we are going to shift gears and talk about the topic that we really want to talk about this morning, and that's Q105. Is it slipping? Has it taken a big slide? Is it on the way down? What can be done? And to share their thoughts with us this morning, Gabe Hobbs, the station operations manager here at 970 WFLA, and he also presides over Z93 across the hallway. And Randy Michaels, corporate programming hooligan, otherwise known as an executive vice president from our corporate orifice in Cincinnati. This should be good. The reason Randy and Gabe aren't here, it's my understanding there was a little soiree to the Mons. There's a nightclub, Mons Venus, I believe it's called. And I think they're both taking a Lysol sitz bath this morning and scrubbing down. So when they show up, we'll shift gears and talk about Q105. If you'd like to talk to us from Pinellas 461 or Hillsborough 990 WFLA or the GTE MobileNet Star line is free at 970 Star. Read one more letter here. I got two more letters to read. Share one with you on the Bob Schuman Show. WFLA radio program management. On your morning show with Al Gardner from, say, 6 till 8, Gardner claims he has news every 15 minutes. What he actually has is about 3 minutes of news and 12 minutes of lying advertising every 15 minutes. You people had best wise up and stop inundating all your radio time with these deceptive and lying pitches to sell stuff or lose listeners. A lot of radio listeners are fed up to the gills with all this excessive advertising crap. I have talked to other people about this, and most of them feel as I do. Herman Talley of Valrico. P.S. Why don't you check this out on the air and see how many people agree with this? Other than this problem, your station is okay. Well, Herm, maybe some folks will comment. Do we have too many commercials on Gardner and Company? And the commercials we have, are they all lies? Give me a call. Go back to the phones now. Chris, you're on News Radio 970, WFLA.
Hello, Schuman.
Hey, what have you?
Got something in the mail for you. Be getting shortly. I figured out. It's taken me a while, but being a devoted listener, I just like to maybe expose what's really going on here. I don't think
go ahead and expose yourself, Chris.
I'm fixing to. I don't think the rest of the listeners have acknowledged this fact that, say the truth, between like 12 and 4, all I listen to now is Z93. I guess Z93 was going down, so you put Rush on there, and Rush is kind of like, to me, it's kind of like Woodstock. You watch it once or twice, and you can recite the script back every time, you know?
Right, yeah.
So, I mean, I guess, you know, it's you buttered your bread on both sides. I listen to you, I listen to Lionel, I listen to Al, and between 12 and 4, I listen to Z93.
All right, Chris.
Hey, Bob?
Yeah?
I just want to commend you on the act that you pulled out there in the Gulf the other day. A lot of people don't realize, like a mako shark, it takes 9 years before they're able to reproduce.
Well, you know what, I tell you, there's a reason for those things out there, and I just hate to see them killed.
And the fact is, if there was no sharks, just the Gulf, you know, all the oceans would turn to a cesspool. And I just want to commend you, and you did the right thing.
Well, I appreciate it. Hey, Chris, I got a question for you.
Yep.
I want to test you. Now, you say you listen to Z93 between 12 and 4, right?
Yes, sir.
Who's on the air?
Oh, man. Don't tell us. I know Rock and Roll Anthony. I can't.
Earl Anthony?
I know about Rock and Roll Anthony, and they won't even let me answer the trivia questions at the Thursday night thing anymore because...
Well, let me tell you, it's Jeff Lawrence and Mark Lyson.
Yeah, who's the one that does the Z93? Who's the one that does the thing of Cheers over there on...
I'm not sure.
Okay, because they won't even let me answer trivia questions no more.
You're too
I cleaned them out.
Hey, Chris, thanks for the call.
Yeah, but you did a good job. You did the right thing, man. Not too many people would do that, you know? It's just like going out in the Gulf and catching a lot of dolphins. You can get enough to fill up, you know, and fill out the bait and feed them. It's fun to watch them, you know?
Well, you know, the only thing I told my wife last night, I said, first of all, we're the only boat in the damn Gulf of Mexico that would actually be nice to a shark. And then secondarily, I hope we didn't teach that shark any behavioral traits because I don't know any other boat he could swim up to without getting clubbed over the head with an oar or something.
Exactly. I went out this weekend. I caught like 15 reds that were all short. At $300 a pop, I'd have been in jail for 90 years, you know. Finally got one about 9 pounds.
Good for you.
That's all. So I brought that one in. But like I said, I think the whole idea for us is to boost ratings on 93 and
pretty clever
on your action in the Gulf.
Pretty clever. Hey, thanks a lot, Chris.
Bye-bye.
I appreciate it. Hesitate before you call again. No, just kidding. Let's go to Bob. Bob, you're on News Radio 970, WFLA.
How are you doing?
I'm doing fine.
Great. I'd like to comment on several things.
It says on my screen that you're disturbed. Is that true?
Yeah. Well, first off, you know, for instance, when you read that letter about the couple letters back, you said, well, thanks for your nice letter, and you kind of blew it off like you don't give a damn what the people are thinking.
No, I give a damn. That's why I'm reading them on the air.
Okay. A couple things. I'll start with Gardner in the morning. You know, it's a great show, but it's at the point right now where it's so hard to listen to it because he may have an interesting guest on there, and the guest may come on at 8 o'clock. The guest actually comes on at 8:10, and by 8:13 he goes to the news. You know, for every hour in the morning, he maybe has 10 minutes of actual talk. Okay?
Well, he's got a little more than that, but your point is well taken, Bob.
I mean, you know, he goes to news every 15 minutes, and news takes between 5 and 7, 8 minutes between traffic and everything, and that leaves him with, you know, a small time. Maybe you should do news every 20 minutes. It's just, you know, it's so ridiculous. It really doesn't make sense. As far as the morning goes, this slot now, now you had mentioned when you were looking for talent to be on, you had, several hundred tapes on your desk that you were reviewing?
In the year I've been here, Bob, yeah, I've probably got maybe 250, 300 tapes.
And nothing against you, and I've always said, you know, if you're going to do a job, you do it all, and you can't do two jobs because you're going to do each one of them half-assed. You just can't do it that way.
Sure.
And maybe that's something you need to take into consideration about the talk show. Now, who's to say that you're better than any of these 200 people that, to be on the air between 9 and noon?
Sure.
I think that's something also you need to take a look at.
Oh, I'm doing it. Believe me.
I think it's horrible the way you compare yourself with Q105, and when you call Q105 the radio station, you get, why do you even have to mention their name? Why even give them a plug?
Well, that will become perhaps apparent this morning after 10 o'clock.
Okay. The other thing is, Tampa Bay needs live talk from 12 to 4. We want to hear the people of Tampa Bay. We want to hear the opinions. When your competitor, 570,
we know them.
They, one of their main things is join the thousands who are making the switch, and that is true. I mean, I know many people who used to listen to you who just don't listen to the station anymore, and the popularity of the other station has picked up tremendously.
Well, we will see. It's too early to tell. Quite frankly, the latest ratings show that they have not picked up much at all. But,
well, if you listen to the other station, you will notice a lot of callers used to call this station, call that station. I never even knew where that station was. I had never heard it before. I listen to it all the time now because, frankly, it's a lot better than the programming you have in the mornings and in the afternoons, up until 4.
Listen, Bob, I do appreciate your thoughts, but I got to dash. Okay.
Okay. Can I have one more thing, real quick?
Yeah.
When is something going to be done about this? I mean, I don't think you guys have ever done something that has caused this much ruckus.
Bob, trust me when I say that we constantly evaluate and reevaluate what we're doing. A lot of factors go into it, what the competition is or is not doing, and believe me, there's a lot of talk in the hallways here.
Okay. Are you aware that you're hurting?
No, I wouldn't say it at all.
Okay, well then you're not getting the message that the public is putting out.
Well,
because you really are hurting. You're bad.
For every person who does not like Dina Dale or Rush Limbaugh, there may be 100 who do. I don't know. We're going to see, and your vote will make it or break it. Okay.
Okay, but I just think you should know that you guys are definitely hurting in the marketplace.
Okay, that's your opinion. Thanks for calling, Bob. I appreciate it. News Radio 970 WFLA on the Bob Schuman Show, where the time is exactly 9:42.
Some words of advice for parents with small children. Go to the JCPenney Baby or Baby Sale and save 20 to 40% off the regular price on children's clothes and accessories. While you're there, enter the Treasures for Your Baby sweepstakes. You could win the grand prize, an entire child's wardrobe, a bedroom set, bedding, plus a stroller and car seat. So enter today at participating JCPenney stores. Deadline September 23rd. Must be 18 years or older. See entry form for details. No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited.
The satellite Doppler radar weather forecast, meteorologist Jim Smith tells us sunny this morning, becoming partly cloudy, good chance of thunderstorms this afternoon, highs around 92. Then fair tonight as usual, lows around 75. More of the same for tomorrow. This hour in Treasure Island, 79 degrees. Plant City, 77. St. Pete, 79. Clearwater, 79. And in Tampa, 76 on News Radio 970 WFLA. If you'd like to talk to us this morning, Pinellas 461 or Hillsboro 990 WFLA, or the GTE MobileNet Star line is free at 970-STAR. Right now we're talking about whatever you want to talk about, really. In just a few minutes we're going to talk about Q105. Are they falling? Are they sliding? Is the dynasty coming to an end? You look at the numbers and the Arbitron ratings, and you might reach that conclusion. Things aren't as they used to be there. And we're going to be joined by our 970 WFLA Operations Manager, Gabe Hobbs, and also Randy Michaels, who is a corporate programming hooligan, Executive Vice President for our fine corporation, G-Corp. Randy is probably going to have some very interesting things to say this morning on 970 WFLA. So we expect them in around 10 o'clock, late night at the Mons Venus for the programming executives last night for their still spring. I travel locally in the Tampa Bay area every day listening to 970 WFLA, literally 8 to 16 hours daily. In the past few years, I've enjoyed your selection of programming, personalities, and benefits WFLA offers. The new Bob Schuman Show is fantastic. The noon hour news report is outstanding. Lionel is a megalomaniac. And the weekend crew with Ted, Captain Mel, Joe, Sam, and yes, even Gil is brilliant. Unfortunately, after listening to the selection of programming that begins at 1 o'clock for 2 weeks, I will change my listening habits to live entertainment in that time slot. I just can't get excited at the notion of pre-recorded or time-delayed syndicated broadcasting. I enjoy the current opinions of my peers in Tampa Bay. The whole idea of pre-recorded syndicated entertainment is quite confusing. when Joe, Sam, and Ted are in your bullpen. But then again, my business isn't radio. Sincerely, Ed on the 970 WFLA GTE MobileNet Starline. Gee, positive. Thanks, Ed. Positive and negative. Slapping a pat on the back there. On the Bob Schuman Show tomorrow, we're going to have a very interesting discussion with a gentleman who, for many years, has flown with Eastern Airlines and is currently on strike against Eastern Airlines. We will talk about the wings of man, its past, present, and future, and we'll talk about safety. You may have seen and heard ads from the Airline Pilots Association, ALPA, saying that Eastern is not a good airline to fly. They don't have enough experience in the crew in the flight deck. We'll explore those issues tomorrow on the Bob Schuman Show on 970 WFLA. Lionel this afternoon at 4 is going to talk about what is the most disgusting thing you have ever eaten. That should be good. The most disgusting thing you have ever eaten. I think it would probably be, in my case, brains. Although I couldn't bring myself to eat very much of it. The other thing I tried was lamb kidneys, and I couldn't even cook them because they smelled like pee. Anyway, News Radio 970 WFLA will take more of your calls. Myrtle, you're on 970 WFLA.
Hi, Mr. Schuman. My name is Myrtle.
Hey, Myrtle, what it is?
I'm calling about to tell you about just a talk show host.
Okay.
I just have a few points. I'd like to start with Gardening Company.
All right.
I really enjoy Gardening Company in the morning. The only thing is, by the time you really get into an interview, it's just not long enough because he's going on to the next one.
Gardeners isn't long enough, okay?
Yeah, I think he's not long enough. Let's see. Ted Webb, I liked him better in the slot he was in. I really miss him. I'm not a whole big, sports fan, but he makes it interesting to me.
Mm-hmm.
I think Lionel should be left where he is. He's good. He's funny. Sometimes I question his topics, a bit far-fetched, but if they're getting the ratings, then I guess that's okay.
Did you enjoy his Gross Show?
Yeah, I like that one.
Shrimping?
That was pretty funny.
Shrimping? Was that not that?
I mean, it was entertaining. I said, well, if this is what it takes to get ratings, then hey, it's okay.
Okay.
Let's see. I think, Sarah Jessica Graff said, you can get rid of her. We got to look at her on TV. I don't like her on the air. Rush Limbaugh, I might be one of the few ladies that like him. He's okay. I can take him sometimes, but I don't listen to him every day.
All right.
And on Saturdays, I like Joe Flores. I think he is a great talent. He's young and fresh, got a real innovative approach, definitely. And I don't know, if you got such talent right there at the station, I don't even know why you have to listen to those 200 tapes. Just put him on the 9 to 12, because we really don't hear enough of him. He's really, really good.
Well, Myrtle, we certainly have thought about doing that, let me tell you.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe before too long that will happen. I'm just not sure. Again, you put your best foot forward, you make your call, and you may be right, you may be wrong, but in the long run, you, Myrtle, are going to determine what we eventually do here.
Well, good. I think then if the callers do have a great deal to do with what you do, and I think everybody that agrees with me on this Joe Flores thing ought to give you a call now and let you know that, so we can see if we can get something done for them.
All right, you got it. Hey, Myrtle, got a dash.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you very much for calling. Let's go to the phones. Mike, you're on News Radio 970 WFLA.
Oi.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, Bob, how you doing?
I'm fine, Mike. How are you?
Okay. I'm just calling because I've been listening to the station for numerous amounts of years, and I enjoy it, and I'm in the car a lot, and I want to see you guys do good. I don't want to see you guys go down the tube. I enjoy listening to WFLA, but there's a lot of things that I don't enjoy these days. And, as far as, like the topics are concerned, and you bring up a topic to where you discuss them every day, that's fine, but there's a lot of things in this world that come up upon you real quick where a lot of times you need to change the topic.
Let me tell you, and listen, this is the way the radio station is designed, okay? The reason we pick the topics in advance is so we can what we call pre-promote.
Right.
We can pre-promote the topics so that I can definitely say this afternoon, Lionel's going to talk about what's the most disgusting thing you've ever eaten. So that's why we pre-promote. Now, the whole radio station concept is designed that if something happens, then we're on it like flies on manure.
Right.
Okay? That's the whole point of why we pre-promote. And if something happens locally, if the mayor is caught with a sheep, that's what we're going to be talking about.
Yeah.
So, and
Friedman was caught with a sheep?
No, not Randy Michaels.
This bulletin from the News Radio 970 WFLA newsroom, Sandy Friedman caught with a sheep.
Programming is really good.
Okay, with one lie. One thing you got to admit, our newsroom never closes.
That's right.
So we have to make a little of it up, but we lie the least.
And then another thing, Bob, is the fact that, like today's show, okay, the pre-formed topic for the day was what's going on with Q105.
That's right.
Okay. I understand that, they probably are losing a little bit over there, but God, how can you guys come out with that kind of a topic when you've got problems in your own backyard?
You'll find out.
I think you need to, take care of the problems that are at hand right now before you move on to someone else.
Well, how should we do that?
I know one thing, in my opinion, I used to like Lionel in the morning. I used to enjoy him a lot. There was not that many breaks. I think that he's the type of person that you need to stay on the line. You need to keep him on the air.
Mike, I hate to tell you this, you've just been gassed.
Yeah.
Mr. Michaels. Down, Bob has expelled some methane into the microphone. Hey, Gabe, don't use that microphone. Mr. Michaels just expelled a gaseous substance into that microphone. Gabe Hobbs joins us now, our operations manager. And I'll tell you what, let's put everything on hold here.
Well, we'll start at 10. I just came in to say hi. And also, I was listening to the guy who says, you don't realize you're in trouble. You don't realize you're going down. And he said, well, thanks for your opinion. And, Bob, I think you should point out that we do weekly audience ratings. And I think in the latest official Arbitrends, WFLA has like a 5.9, and the Pinellas Park like a point. CB system is a 0.3 or something. So this guy who's insisting that's not the case ought to get a life. I mean, listen, pal. The answer is you are out of step with the rest of society. You're absolutely wrong. You ought to commit suicide because you were obviously a loser with no contact with reality, whatever.
Can I ask you something?
Hey, Bob?
Yeah, Mike.
Bob, I wanted to ask you one other thing.
Hurry.
There was the previous caller, you were saying that, well, in his opinion, you guys are not going down. And I'm sure you're sitting over there and you're looking at the numbers and you're looking at, what you were just saying. You have a 5.9. Okay, so your sponsors are still sponsoring. It doesn't matter what kind of programming you got going over there. You still have the same sponsors. I mean, what kind of message do we, here we are, we're calling you, we're writing you letters, other than the fact that maybe we ought to call the sponsors and say, hey, we don't like what's going on at the radio station.
Wait a minute, Sir, Mike, I got to ask you. Mike, wait a minute, Mike, before you go, did you hang up on him?
He's gone.
Oh. Well, Mike, if you're still listening, assuming you haven't switched to
CB channel,
Low IQ 105 or whatever. In a given day, the station has 300,000 listeners. If 300 of them call, that would be a lot, and that's 0.1%. So, and this station is designed to be entertaining to the people who listen, not necessarily to cater to the callers, although we need you to call. Without you, we'd be absolutely nothing. And believe me, we are sensitive to what you like, and we'll continue to ask you. We appreciate your letters. We appreciate your calls. And
stop whining. Let me ask you.
If you really don't like Bob, we'll take him off.
I'd rather you get me off. Listen, let me ask you one serious question. Serious?
Venus last night.
I want to know, did you bathe? Did you take a dip in hydrochloric acid? And in Lysol?
Now, you don't think we really went to the Mons Venus, do you?
That's what my reconnaissance reports told me. That's
you
what
don't
the police
think
report
that's
said.
one of those blown out of proportion radio stories that tends to get perpetuated through the years. Blown out of proportion, I'll tell you that.
Overblown. The whole story's overblown, right? All right.
Yeah.
All right.
No, I had tuna for breakfast. That's the only reason.
I see. You're probably out shrimping with Lionel. All right. News Radio 970, WFLA 952. We're overdue for a news update. And here's Martin Child.
We're starting to get damage reports from the Virgin Islands. There's bad news for Vietnamese boat people in Hong Kong. They're getting kicked out, and surprise at the Emmys. The sale's coming up at 10 on News Radio 970 WFLA.
News Radio 970 WFLA and Reynolds Aluminum have teamed up to help the Humane Society of Tampa Bay. For the rest of this month, a portion of the proceeds at 3 recycling centers will go to the Humane Society. You help. Bring your spare cans and scrap aluminum to one of 3 locations: 56th and East Henry, 7733 West Hillsborough Avenue, or 5511 South Manhattan Avenue. The animals will appreciate your scraps more than you can imagine. And thanks from Reynolds Aluminum and News Radio 970 WFLA.
If you've sat in a traffic jam lately, think about this. All those cars affect your family's health. 2 out of 3 Americans breathe unhealthy air, and it's getting worse. Very soon, our Congressman Mike Bilirakis will choose between a tough bill that gets rid of smog and one that doesn't. Call Congressman Bilirakis at 441-3721. Urge him to vote for the Waxman Clean Car Amendment. That's 441-3721. Sponsored by the Florida Sierra Club.
When you start getting serious about your career, when you decide it's time for you to make that big move, look into the National Business Employment Weekly. Look into it every week for hundreds, yes, hundreds, of high-paying managerial, professional, and technical jobs all across the country. Look into it for authoritative advice on how to land one of those jobs, sharpening your resume, shining in interviews, making a salary you can be proud of. Look into it for help in doing well in your new job.
Advice on getting along with your boss, getting a raise, getting moved up. The National Business Employment Weekly. When you get serious about your career, no other publication can help you so much. Ask for it at your newsstand. Or, if you prefer, call toll-free 800-328-9100 and have the next 8 issues delivered to you by first-class mail for $35. 8 issues, only $35. Call now, 800-328-9100. Please have a major credit card ready. The National Business Employment Weekly. Don't make a career move without it.
Well, participating name brands read like a who's who of home furnishings. It's happened every year for the past 7 years. It's happening today for 1989. Bassett, Broyhill, Singer, Seeley, Lazy Boy, Jameson, Lane, Stratford, Serta, Carson. The names go on and on participating in that 7th annual nationwide sale sponsored by the National Home Furnishings Association. Well, it's happening today, 10 till 9, at Kane Furniture. Kane's offering everything at national sale reductions. Kane's offering up to $10,000 instant credit, and you can buy today. Enjoy no payments until December. You can use Visa, MasterCard, Discover, and delivery's free. It's the National. It's today. Everything's reduced at Kane's.
Located U.S. Highway 19 in St. Petersburg, Clearwater, Newport, Richie, and Tampa, across from East Lake Square Mall. You'll also find the same great values at Kane Save-On Furniture in Sarasota.
Here's Radio 970 WFLA. The time of the Bob Schuman Show is 9:56. And ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you, something is going on in the hallways of 970 WFLA, or perhaps at our sister station, Z93. We have programming people from our company from all over the country standing in the hallway, conferring about what they did last night and perhaps what may be in the works today. Very, very interesting. Let's go back to the phones now. John News Radio 970, WFLA. Good morning.
Good morning, Bob.
Hey, John. What it is?
Well, don't know it. I think you ought to have Joe Flores on a little more often.
You like Jose?
I'd like to hear more of him. I know that his salary is probably a whole lot more than a taped Rush Limbaugh. And
yeah, that's true.
You know what it looks like to me is I had a home one time on the lake, and that I had just bought. And I was really excited about it and had a lot of ideas about the thing. And I moved in, and within 30 days I found out that the plumbing was real bad, the roof leaked, and the foundation was in poor shape. And all of a sudden my good ideas went out the window, and I said, hey, all I want to do is put a coat of paint on this thing, fix it up enough to make it marketable and sell it, and get the hell out. And it sounds like that maybe some of that is happening down there at the station. In other words...
you think the station's up for sale? Is that what you're telling me?
Well, I don't know. I mean, it looks like to me,
No.
It looks like to me that you're doing just enough to get by in order to make it marketable and maybe, sell it to somebody else. I don't know.
Let me assure you, John, this radio station is not on the block. Now, anything is up for sale. I mean, if you got a Buick Riviera in your parking lot in your driveway, and somebody comes up and says, hey, man, I'll give you $50,000 for that car, you're going to sell the car.
That's the way I look at things. Everything's for sale.
But, no. I mean, the plan is not to sell this radio station. I must assure you of that. John, thanks for calling. News Radio 970, WFLA. And, Steve, you're on the air with Bob Schuman. Good morning.
I just would like to say that the other station's programming is not all that great, but it is better than what is on from 12 until 4. And that in itself is a sad statement, I believe. When the other station, you really don't enjoy it, but you simply tune to it because it's live.
Yeah, well, have you tried Rush Limbaugh? Don't you find him entertaining?
I've heard him on the weekends. I've heard the tape. As far as I'm concerned, anything that comes off of the satellite, off of the tape, it's boring. I don't care if it was tape Hitler, it still would be boring.
What about Lasser? What about Lasser? If he's on the bird, would you listen to him?
No, I can't call him. I've tried to call Rush Limbaugh. I got on there one time about 11:55, and I let the thing ring, and at 12 o'clock it went busy. I think they just play a busy signal through the telephone.
No, they don't do that. But let me tell you, very few people who listen to the radio actually call us, okay? So your complaint, unfortunately, wouldn't be valid with most of our listeners, okay?
Oh, well.
Steve, thanks for calling 970 WFLA. Jack, you're on the air. Good morning.
Hey, how you doing, Bob?
What it is?
Desperately looking for the knob that I tore off my radio about a year ago.
Now, Jack, don't be so hasty.
Yes, I followed Lassiter and Fowler and so forth from PLP.